Stephen USSR Robinson.
Back.
He's back again.
Back.
1 year, 1 day since you turned pro.
Yeah, since we first fight.
Yeah.
A year ago yesterday. It's flown over. Since I do as well.
Yeah, it was.
But it's crazy to think that that's been a year, and to think that my last fight was the 29th of February, and we're now hitting October. It's just flying. I feel like I haven't got long left.
Yeah, I think so. It was yesterday was 1 year. You had your professional debut. What do you remember about like waking up in the morning and going through the day knowing that this is your debut and hopefully you don't get chinned or something don't go wrong, you don't twist your ankle in the fight? Or
I just remember. I remember Joe didn't want to take the fight because I think the guy had at the time. I think he had 5, won 3, lost 2. And he was coming off the back of a good win against somebody that was 4-0. Sean Duffy was called, and I remember Joe being, a bit dubious to take the fight for the first fight. And me and Mark sat down and spoke, and I said, listen, I've had a good amateur pedigree. The last thing I want to be doing is fighting 9 nobodies, building up a record. I haven't got time for that. I said, so let's just take the fight. What's the worst can happen? I lose, I know that I'm not cut out for this game. I win, great. It puts me foot in the door straight away. And we took the fight on, and as we've spoke before, I don't get nervous. So the day was just a normal day really. Probably running around selling tickets to those who waited till the last minute. Got weighed in, went home, chilled, had some food, and then it was no different to any other fight. It was no different from my first amateur fight. It was no different from my first fight for England. It was no different to any of the other amateur fights. It was just another fight, and that's how I was going in. And my mental attitude is Valhalla type, I'm going to knock a man out, I'm going to hurt them, that's that. And there's nothing going to stop us on the day hurting somebody, and we'll work towards that and we'll build that up. And I'm the nicest person out of the ring, but once I'm in that ring, my aim is to hurt you, damage you, and not in a nasty way, but they just want to do the same to me. And
it's the name of the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you remember about like the fight itself? Now, actually, before we get there, the first time that I seen you, it was actually the one and only time that I actually took like a freebie off of MTK. They gave me like a front row seat and everything like that. Yeah. And I didn't do that. I went to like the press area and it had like the whole entire stand empty.
Yeah.
It was, and I thought, I was going to sit there like a Billy No Mates.
Yeah.
I did, and just quite good. But then like a Nick Gitters and Joe Laws come out and sit next to me. We had like a bit of a chat, and there's this big old walking wardrobe. Just come past, I was like, what on earth? And he went, and like, and the kids went, yeah, so Steve Robinson, he's good, he's watch him. Wearing your Jargo outfit.
So, I remember going into the stadium, and as I say, it was when I obviously when you first get there, it's empty. I mean, the setup's unbelievable down there. MTK do a great show down there. The stadium wasn't too busy, and I remember getting the time sheet being told I was 11th on, and I had a bit of time, just to take in the atmosphere, relax, walk around a little bit, and it was it wasn't daunting, but it was a bit inspiring that I'm going to be fighting on this show, And I remember going to the arena to watch Ritson when I was boxing for England, and thinking, this is my dream to be and have people shouting and seeing this sort of atmosphere, and fighting on that type of show, it was great. And I remember sitting down and some kid, big kid with a shirt on, come up with us and he went, "Oh, you're Steve Robinson?" I says, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, I'm fighting you tonight." And I was like, "Alright." he was telling us about them knocking sparring partners out, and I was just sat there and I was like, oh good, like good on you type of thing. And he was like, yeah, I'm coming back off a great win, and I was like, oh fantastic. And like, good on you, and I said, keep it up, keep up the hard work. And I think he wanted us to bait, and I think he tried to get me head mad. I just sat there with a bottle of water, just thinking, what are you doing? Like, why are you telling us this? It's irrelevant when who you've knocked out, what you've done in sparring, what win you're at coming back off, because there's nobody would have trained harder than me. There'll be nobody who's more mentally fit than me on the day, and you. No, there was nothing that day. There was nobody stopping us from getting that win. And 130 of my pals there, so there was no man in front of us taking that away from us. Nothing.
But the fight itself, was it 1 minute 40 seconds?
I think it was 1 minute 25. I think I put him down with a jab, and then obviously the referee jumped in. I think it was around about 1 minute 40.
Yeah.
I may be wrong with that. It might have been 2 minutes, but it was quite early. It was just halfway into the first round.
Is that the kind of debut that you wanted?
As I say, I didn't expect anything less. I know if I catch you right, and the good thing with Sean, who I fought, was we come to fight. And my second one, also, who I knocked out in 1 minute 40, come to fight. The third one didn't. There was a couple of times watching it back where the referee could have jumped in. If it was an international referee, he probably would have jumped in and said, listen, either start fighting, otherwise Stephen's going to get the win, because other than the second round when he caught us with 2 shots which done nothing, I think that's all he threw. He just stood on the back foot, and fighting negative fighters brings a negative side out of you.
Yeah.
Whereas with Sean, he come to get the win. He was on the back of a good win, and he had said when he was sat next to us, I'm here to get the win, and I've got to fight 3 weeks after with a big name as well, and all this and all that, and I knew he was coming to fight, and from the first bell he was having big shots, he was looking at his shots, and I thought, this is just perfect for me, because for me, I had 40, I think I had 44 amateur fights, and other than one I lost them on a split decision. That's because I start slow, because I like to work the person out. I'm very laid back, and I was going through the motions with them until I started picking up halfway through the first round. And anybody who knows me will say the same. Even my sparring partners will say 2-3 rounds it'll take us just to start to get into it. And I remember thinking he's swinging wild and he's falling forward on his front foot. And this is what I like to do when I'm in the ring. I like to work them out, see if they're good on the back foot, see if they're good on the front foot, watch little mistakes, watch if they're falling forward, because you fall forward on your front foot, you're 18 stone, and you've got somebody 18 stone hanging ramming a jab into your face. It's, it's going to hurt, and as soon as he hurried that jab, I hurried mine at the same time, which is when he went down, and then I knew he was hurt from that, because it caught him flush. I felt it through my glove, when you've caught someone well, and just got straight on him, and he just was trying to grab, and as soon as the referee let him go, just stepped aside to the right a bit so I could get that right hand in, and then the referee jumped in and stopped it.
No, it's definitely a great way to mark your debut. And afterwards as well, after I spoke to you, because it was IFL spoke to you first,
yes.
And I interviewed you after, which is when I met you and Mark and that. And I remember afterwards, it's like you got showered, you got changed, you went out, and it's like you just became famous. People were just coming out for autographs, selfies, and
it was amazing. I mean, again, I had witnessed it and I had seen it in the arena, and it was a bit like, this is it's amazing. This is something where I would love to be, and I would love to be part of that. And it's when I come out of the ring, I remember the guy who walks you in and out of the ring, he called and he says, listen, I need your gloves, because it was just, everybody was, a lot of them were my friends, you know, it was my first professional fight, so of course they're gonna, you know, be my brother and my mum and stuff was there, and it was, when I got back, done the interview with you, and I didn't think once I walked out with my normal clothes on, I thought that would be that, and like you say, it was unbelievable, and it made us realise that the love of the sport and the love of the game, and the people who are involved in boxing are, you know, they're not fickle like football fans, and they'll follow you through thick and thin no matter what. And you're always going to have your doubters, you're always going to have your haters, but that's fine, man. That comes part of the parcel, and you expect that. But it was great to see, and it was great to be part of. And it was. I mean, you think back to it, it does make you proud to be part of the sport of boxing, knowing that the fans they're just so loving, so happy, and it was a great night, and it happened in my second and third fight as well, and it's really good to see that then people are out there, and you know, like I say, I get messages all the time on social media and stuff, and I always make sure that I answer them, and it's good. It's good to see, it's good to be around, you know.
Boxing is alive and well in the northeast.
Oh, definitely, and I mean, it's such a shame with this corona that nobody's putting a show on up here. I'm hoping Matchroom goes ahead with it. Although I'm not on it, I'm still hoping that they go ahead for the lads in the northeast, and it puts we're back up there, because you know, we have got some big names, and we've got some big fights on that night. Supposedly, if Tommy Ward and Ritson Laws and Savannah Marshall go ahead, you know, they're big names, and they can sell, you know, on Sky Sports, and they could sell out the arena between them. So I don't see why they wouldn't put it on, and why they wouldn't go ahead.
It's been moved to the MTK Dons stadium down south in Milton Keynes now.
All right.
Yeah, so it will go ahead, just won't be up here.
Yeah, but still all northeast fighters. I mean, I think the British Boxing Board emailed me the other day saying that you're allowed seven fights on a show, so still time yet, I hope, to try and get on.
You never know.
2 slots left.
You never know.
Mark to hurry up and pull his finger out to get us on.
Yeah, that's it. And where do you see yourself? Because obviously 1 year in now, obviously 3 fights, you're hoping to have, was it 6? Something like that. So next year, once all this virus thing sorted out, you're open for another 6 and then start more in?
Definitely not. I haven't got the time for that. I mean, it's not my nature to start calling people out. It's not my type of character to start bad mouthing or calling people out, but it's something I'm going to have to do. I've lost a year. I mean, it's something that I need to step up and see where I'm at. And all my work is done in there. And once everything calms down, you know, sparring Broccoli, I can go up there and spar whenever I want. Been speaking to Jay McFarlane, he's up for sparring whenever. Nathan Coleman's up for sparring whenever. So, and then we've just signed a pro, Declan Fusco, who boxed for GB and stuff. Fantastic amateur pedigree. Naturally, very, very, very talented switch hitter, good fighter, heavy-handed. So the sparring's going to be there, the training's going to be there. I know all my hard work is done outside of the ring, and way before the fight gets there. Now, the type of people who I'm going to start calling out, you know, the likes of somebody like Nick Webb, for instance. He's not going to step down to a six rounder. So I'm going to need 1 or 2 6-rounders with a good name, somebody like Sokolowski, or you know, somebody who's a really tough journeyman who have got some good wins in the bag. Get some 6-rounders in, and then I need to step it up to an 8-rounder, and I need to be competing for an English title next year, 100%. if not the English. By 2022 I want to be fighting for the British. Otherwise, if I haven't got something like that in the pipeline, if I haven't got those goals and targets, well, what's the point of being here? Well, for me, it's not like, oh, I'm a professional boxer. I don't want to be, I don't want to be advertising the fact that I'm a professional boxer. I think it's cool. For me, it's do something, make a status, and get fans along the way, build a reputation, and get some big fights. Get yourself set for life, and that's what I'm in the sport for. And do I believe I can do that? 100%. I've sparred massive names, very big names in the sport, and I hold my own against them all, ranked, ranked 12th, 13th in the world. And only bigger things are going to come from this, and I'm only going to be sparring better, and in the future. And with Joshua this morning's come out saying that he's sparring Joe Joyce for the Pulev fight, and if he's sparring Joe Joyce, for me, I don't think Joe Joyce is anything like Pulev. So I think, is that a good move? But regardless of that, I'm a similar weight and stature to Joe Joyce, and if anything, my jab is a lot more like Pulev's than what Joyce's style is. So, this is something that could come. I may get a phone call in 6 weeks, and that's why I'm in the gym every day, twice a day, staying fit, because it just takes one person to pull out of a fight who's fighting somebody like Dubois or Joyce or Johnny Wilder, somebody of my stature, to ring Mark and say, listen, there's a possibility for a fight, there's been an injury, we need somebody 6'7", 17 stone, would Steve be interested? Would I be interested to fight somebody 25 and 100% if the money's right? What have I got? David Allen done it. I think he's 18th fight, and he fought Dillian Whyte, and then Louis Ortiz, and he's built a massive reputation off the back of that. And he get a couple of losses on the record, but that might not necessarily happen. I'm there to turn heads. I'm different, and you look at the likes of the people. There's 1,000 people who are in my boat. There's thousands out there who are 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 2-0 on the up and coming, and I have to make sure that I'm different, I'm unique, my style's different. I've got a plan A, B, C and D, which I have. If A is not working, step at the B. If B is not working, step at the C. And I think that's the difference. A lot of people are focused on getting 9-0, getting 10-0, building up that reputation, rather than the fact that it's not a long game. You haven't got 15 years in the sport. So somebody like Hrgovic or Babic in 5-6 fights time, 100%. That's where I want to be in the IBF in the Continental or something along those lines against someone like that. That's where I want to be. Permitting the money's right, permitting the sparring's being right and training's going well, then that's exactly where I see myself in 2 or 3 years. And if I'm not there, it's time to get the uni degree out and find myself a job.
Why not? What about travelling? Do you see yourself as you'd prefer to fight in the Northeast? You're okay to travel around the UK? You're okay to travel abroad and fight?
100%. Boxing, I'm fortunate enough to have amazing people backing us. And I'm sponsored full time, so boxing's my life, boxing's my livelihood, boxing's my job. So if a phone call rings and I'm going travelling on Monday, I'll be there. It wouldn't be an issue. Mark, we've already had this conversation that permitting the camps right, I'm looked after, and everything's good and proper, 100%. And fight-wise, I'll fight anywhere. There's no relevance to me to have to stay in the Northeast. Again, would I fight a home fighter on their home show? 100%. I'm not going to have the judges, judges against us, but other than these journeymen who just cover up and go on the back foot, I know that I'll land a shot and you're down. So it's irrelevant, it's not going to go 6 rounds, it's not going to go 8 rounds, and that's not me blowing my own trumpet. I know I hit hard, and I hit phenomenally hard. I've seen it in sparring with 18-ounce gloves on and head guards. I've seen people tumble, and with 10-ounce gloves on, I connect my right hand or a left hook or a combination of shots. I know you're going down, so I wouldn't leave it to the judges. If I was the away fighter, I wouldn't allow it to go to the judges, because I know from the amateur days you'd have to do a lot to get the win, and I wouldn't allow that to happen. So fighting away and training away, it's fine by me, yeah.
Do you look at the fighters even abroad as well, like the FA Jagbas and fighters like that? Do you look at these guys and think, I'd like to fight you tomorrow?
Oh, I've been watching and looking, keeping an eye on, there's a couple of Australians up and coming who are 5-0, who've got good records against some good kids, and there's a couple of, obviously there's a load of Americans. Like I say, there's thousands of people in my boat. There's thousands of me's with 3-0, 4-0, 2-0, up and comings, and there's 1,000 in my boat, but there's only one of me. There's only one of me who, mentally I'm prepared, physically I'm prepared, and I know fine well, as I was saying earlier, all the work's done in there, and it doesn't matter to me on the day who it is, what his record is. All I need to know is he southpaw, is he orthodox? That's that. I won't watch him, I won't research him and try and see, because as I say, if plan A doesn't work, then you've got to have it in that box. Plan A might work the full fight, but you might have a plan B, C and D. And what's the use of researching someone and saying, right, this is how he boxes, and doing everything for that, if that's the only plan you've got? What happens when he switches? What happens when he turns that around? What happens when he leads with a left hook rather than a jab? Or something changes, and then you're like, shit, I've trained towards this fighter for 8 weeks, and he's just switched it up like that. That's why, like I say, I've got 2 phenomenal coaches who are both very different, but both bring a total different side out of us, and both bring, they're both very, very, very different in the way they train, but they work together with me, and that's why I know that, if plan A and B is not working, I'll come back with C and D, and I work long, I work inside, I work medium range. It doesn't matter what type of fighter I've got, I'll have something in the bag, I'll have something up there to work with. So going back to your question, yeah, I'm watching people in different countries, and would I be willing to travel to that country to fight them 100%? Yeah, definitely. I mean, somewhere Eastern European wise, I think it's a lot more different. I think it's a lot more corrupt. If I was to go over Russia, I would have to knock them clean out to get the win, and I know that. But as I say, I'm confident in my hands and the technical side that I've got and the power that I've got to go over there and do that. So yeah.
I mean, thinking about it, your career has gone pretty fast, really, hasn't it, so far, from when you first put on some boxing gloves up to this point.
Yeah.
And 39 wins, 6 losses as an amateur, 3-0 as a pro right now. It's actually not a lot of experience, really.
Not at all. And before this, I played at a very high standard of football. I was in America when I was 20. I was in Hong Kong when I was 24. So I've always been sports orientated. And I remember doing GCSE PE. There was a teacher, Mr. Bernard Taylor, and he played for England and what have you, cricket. And I remember I had been naughty, and he put us on detention, and he says, I've got cricket practice this afternoon. He says, come down, he says, because you're on detention. he says, and you can just sit on the side. And I remember watching, and he gave us the ball, and he says, "Oh, see what you like at bowling." And this was against the school cricket team. And I remember, but I never played cricket in my life, and I remember saying, "What you do is you do this," and I remember just bowling the ball and knocking the wicket down. I remember him saying, "Do that again." Done it again. I didn't hit the wicket, but I bowled it, and then the third time he says, "Go again," and I hit the wicket again. I remember begging us to get into cricket, and nah. And then the same Mr. Smith, who was the rugby coach, he was doing PE rugby during the GCSEs, and I remember him begging us to play rugby. And I think when I focus on something, I'm good at it, and you know, I want to be good at that thing, and I will always give 110%, no matter what it is. I'll give 110%. And I mean, you look at some professional footballers who then go into professional. There's a couple of turned into professional boxing, professional cricket, professional football, professional rugby, and then you've got rugby players going into MMA, and you've got rugby players going into football. I think if you're good at a sport, I think you're technically good at a lot of sports. You see Anthony Joshua playing football and stuff, and then you see him playing tennis, and you see it on social media, and Dave Allen as well. You see him with the football, and you tend to find a lot of people, if they're good at one sport, will be good at another sport or two or three sports. So for me, like I say, since I was 8, 9, 10 year old, I've played football, and I've also played at high standards. So training and being committed has been something that I've always been involved in. So when I took up boxing to get fit after an ankle injury, you know, I didn't think I'd be where I was now 5 years ago. And I remember it was when I come back from Hong Kong, 2015, when I first walked into the gym, met Mark, and it was all just to get fit. And 5 years later, like you say, it's have I done massive amounts in boxing in comparison to people? No, I haven't. And you know, there's 100% more technical fighters than me out there, and I would be stupid to say that I was the most technical, because I'm not. But I have got heart, I have got hard work, I have got a little bit of talent, I think, and I will, you know, nobody will get in my head before or after, you know, before the fight, and I will give, as I say, I go in there with the approach of Valhalla. It's kill or be killed, and I will go in there, and I'll never walk out the ring and go, if only I'd have done that, because I will give 110% the whole time. If you come to fight me, and you're coming forward and you're looping in shots, that's great for me, because I know when I'm timing you and watching what you're doing and working things out. And Mark and Joe are saying, as soon as I come back to the corner, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's falling forward when he does this, he's stepping his left foot across when he does this. And this is things I've already picked up, and I'm just waiting to pounce like a rattlesnake.
So when you first had, your first spar, do you remember getting punched in the mouth and thinking, nah, I don't like this, or
yeah? I come in, and it was against a kid called Curtis, who was due to be in the ABs. He was a fireman, he was 18 stone, he was really well built. And I remember Mark, I'd been training for about 6 weeks, and they'd done a body sparring class on a Tuesday, where pretty much it was just a fitness class. And I remember coming down for the fitness class, and what they used to do is they used to put Curtis in the middle, and then all of us on the outside would do a round, and then there was people on the outside who would just be doing body sparring. And body sparring was really good for fitness. So I remember coming in against Curtis, and we're working, and you know, I was hitting and what have you, and then he uppercutted us by accident. He slid off my vest, and he uppercutted us. And he was like, sorry, and I was like, no, it's fine. And then we carried on body sparring. And then that was on the Tuesday, and then on the Friday I come in and Mark says, listen, would you be interested in doing a little bit of sparring? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, have you got a head guard? Have you got a gum shield? And I says, nah. I says, nothing. So he says, well, I'll tell you what, I had this daft 9-pound gum shield from Soccer Sports. And I thought, I look after my teeth, I don't know if you can see, but I've got quite nice teeth. So I thought, I want the best. So I went down the dentist, I says to Mark, I'll get a head guard, I'll get some 16-ounce gloves and I'll go and get a gum shield. And I went down the dentist, got a gum shield. Come in about a week later from the body sparring class, and I had my first ever sparring. Joe, I'll never forget, Joe was in Curtis's corner, and Mark was doing my corner, and in the first round, this kid was just punching my face, and I was just walking around the ring, and I come back and Mark says, like, that'll do it. I says, no, it won't. I says, it will, definitely not. And Mark was like, honestly, it'll do you. And I was like, no, I'm fine. Second round went in, and he was hiring these shots in, and I was catching him with good little shots, and I think he was a little bit like taken back. And then I come the third round, Mark, well that was finished, and Mark was like, listen, you need to start taking this serious, and you need to think about if you want to do this. And at the time, I was 24-year-old, and I'm thinking, 24-year-old, I'm not going to start taking boxing serious now, you know. You have people in. And then he started telling the stories about this David Price. At the time, he was up and coming, and then Audley Harrison, and he was showing us people who had started the sport at 28, 29-year-old, who had went on to win Olympic silvers, Olympic golds, and then turned pro. And I started to, rather than doubt myself, I started to use that doubt and transition it into positive energy and say, okay, let's give it a go. And I think I've been in a camp for 5 years. I don't think I've even like going on holidays and stuff with me girlfriend at the time, or my pals, and I would go on holiday and I would rent a bike. The first thing I would do would rent a pedal bike, or I would go running, or I'd find out where the nearest gym was, and it was just engraved in us. I stopped drinking. I haven't had a drink, and other than the odd, going out with the lads and having a couple of gin and tonics, I haven't had a drink in 5 years. And it's the way Mark and Joe have engraved it into us and said, listen, you can do something. And they've said that from my first spar, which is why I believe in myself and I believe in them, because I've given up and sacrificed too much to not expect myself to do something.
Do you allow yourself to dream about holding that British and bringing it up here?
100%, and it's more than the British as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, every time I'm on a run, every time I'm sitting in the house, just sitting, pondering, thinking, I see myself, high up. I see myself with that British title, and who's stopping us going higher? Like I say, there's nothing stopping us but that. That's the only thing, and that goes to anybody who's watching this and sitting on the computers and looking down at themselves and thinking, I've put £20 on during this corona. Or, if you're doubting yourself, the only person that can tell you can't do this, you can't do that, is that. And I remember walking in the gym at 20, 24, saying, I'm not going to ever do anything in boxing. I'm 24-year-old, and 46 fights later, I've boxed for my country, and I've represented my country. I've got my England vest, and now I'm 3-0 professionally. And 5 years ago, I would have never thought that, and that was because of me self-doubting myself. So anybody who doesn't believe in themselves and gives themselves self-doubt, even if it's something, even if you want a promotion at work, even if it's you want to lose £10, even if it's something is very little, very, very little, stop doubting yourself, stop allowing those around you to doubt you, and just go and do it. Because I'm in the happiest I've ever been, because I went and done it. And You know, I'm by no way am I an inspirational speaker or, you know, anything like that, but from my own, everybody in school, I was very, very, very naughty in school, and I come from a bad area, and everybody told me I would amount to nothing. Everybody who I grew up with see that, unfortunately, committed suicide, they're on drugs, they're in prison. And everybody around us, even my teachers, will say you'll turn to nothing, you'll do nothing, you'll be nothing. And to see myself where I am now, I would love to see the people who said that and just, you know, give them one of them and say, I've done it. It doesn't matter what happens in boxing. If in the next fight I get put on my arse, knocked spar clean out, that's you know, I've done something that nobody else, everybody else put doubt in it. So I've represented my country. There's nobody in Bladen and Leighton in any sport can say I've represented my country. I can. So everybody who doubted us in the past, everybody who still doubted us now, which I know there is, then all I can say is just keep watching, because there's nothing, nobody wants this more than me. And you know, in the inspiration I get from my friends, my family, the people who are following the likes of you and the fans and stuff who are following me path is what spurs me on. And I want to build a legacy in the box, more so for my family, for myself, for my friends, and for those who've been around us from day one. There is nothing stopping us from doing that, nothing.
Yeah, I feel that too. You walked in the gym at 24 years old, you're now what, 28 years old now?
29.
Okay, 29 years old now. That's a lot to cram in, really, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's been a lot, but because of my past, because of where I grew up and the people around us and what I had seen and what types of things I had witnessed. I mean, I've walked to school and seen somebody shooting up heroin in the deep, because I've walked through the woods. I've seen people, you know, somebody over the road from us burned himself in a car when I was 11 years old, burned himself to death. And there's things I've seen that I wouldn't wish on anyone, and it could have been very easy for me to take the wrong path. And Mark has, I can't say changed my life, because football changed my life. My love for sport changed my life, and wanting to do something. But when I come in and meet Mark, he's been like a big brother, and I can't thank Mark for what he's done for me and how he's took us away from everything. And even just little nights out on the drink to think, well, I'm not going to do that because I want to train in the morning, I want to train tomorrow, just little things like that has just totally changed my perspective on life, and it's made us realise that anybody can do anything. You know, it's not cliche to say, you know, Walt Disney, I love Disney by the way, if anyone said, if you can dream it, you can do it. It's not cliche, because you really can do anything. And I'm my own worst nightmare to critique myself and put myself down and think, no, I can't. And as I say, for me to do this and be where I am and achieve what I've done, for me that's enough. And I know I'm going to go further, because I want it and I believe it, and I will make it happen.
You strike me as someone who's very loyal, so like you can. I think I'd be quite comfortable saying that you'll probably be with Mark throughout like your entire career.
Well, unless he cheats on us.
Well, yeah, of course. But I mean, if you end up signing up with like Warren or Hearn or Hennessy or something like that, there's a very good chance that you'll be with them from there, right, and you'll just stay with them.
Right.
Which is, where's all that come from? Where's this loyalty thing come from?
It's just, I mean, it's just the way I've been brought up. The thing is, Mark will never, ever step in the way of my progression, ever. And we've already had this conversation, and we've already said this. You'll never, ever stop me from progressing. If I get a massive contract to go away and to America, Mark will be the first to sign the dotted line, and it'll be hard for me. But as I say, I know where, like you say, where we loyalty stand, and I'll always have those people who have been there from day one, who, if touch wood, I did get a massive fight in Vegas, I did make £1 million, I would see everybody else right before I see myself right. I would see my family right, I would see my friends right. I'd make sure those, if somebody couldn't afford it, who had been to every one of my fights, I'll be flying them out. And again, like you said before, do you dream yourself lifting the British title? Yeah, I also dream about retiring my mum and dad in America, or retiring my mum and dad in somewhere where it's 360 days of sun. And that's also what spurs us on, is those who commit to me and who love me and do it on me, I'll show as much commitment and love back. And that's just the way I've been brought up. And I'd give somebody my last pound, if, you know, and then that's how I am. And when, as loyalty is concerned, I think being loyal to somebody and being committed to somebody is a lot more important than bouncing around. And, you know, as I say, Mark will never stop us from doing what I want to do. Like I was saying before, if the phone rings to go abroad, will you go abroad and will you go and train? Yeah. And Mark, I'm telling you now, Mark would come over with us for the first week or 2 weeks. He'd put his family behind. He's got 2 beautiful kids, a lovely girlfriend. He'd put them behind. He'd come with me for a week. I remember the first time I boxed for England, I was maybe going down by myself, and Mark took us down, took us to the Sheffield camp, got us in, got us settled, and then drove home, and then come back the next day for the fight. And you know, that's just a connection me and Mark have, and Joe and Giuseppe, and they've put 5 years into me now, and not only that, they've travelled thousands of miles for sparring, and they've never took a penny off us, they've never asked for a penny, and they've focused so much on me, so I could, the loyalty is the only thing I can offer now, because I haven't got anything. But when I am able to sort them out in other ways, then, you know, I make sure that those around us are 100% get looked after. I'll buy you the best camera and courage you can buy. But no, seriously, you know, I will make sure that those around me and those who have been with us for, you know, from the day, same as sponsors. My sponsors, there's not one rich person who sponsors. One of them's a pal who tattoos, one of them's a pal who does damp-proofing, one of them's a pal who's a goofer, then there's Mark who's a pal. You know, and one of them's a new one is one of my good pals who owns a security company. So none of them are millionaires, none of them have got millions in the bank and are set for life. But they put, you know, £250, 200 or £150 away every single month to make sure that I can do what I do, and that's something I'll never forget, ever. Whether they were first on board, like Moss Crop, the tattoo artist, or Mark and Stephen, whether they were first or whether they've just jumped on board, I won't ever forget what they've done for me. And as I say, they'll be looked after way before me if I make it big, and that's just the person I am.
Mark's a millionaire, isn't he? I mean, you know, he owns like his fitness, it's a world famous
vision franchise. Mark Trump. there's Mark there. He's keeping quiet. No, do you know what it is with Mark? He's another one that he was a professional, so yeah. He's very committed, but Mark has sacrificed so much. You know, I'm not going to get into things that he's had to do to build his empire up, but it's still building, and I wish the man...
It's amazing though, isn't it?
Oh, phenomenal. I mean, there's 2, and it's only on the rise. He's only he's having a meeting now to turn that part into a full CrossFit area.
Okay.
So he's an unbelievable entrepreneur at 36, 37-year-old, but as I say, he's took a lot of sacrifices. He's put in a lot of time, he's lost a lot of time with his family to be where he is, and he's an inspiration to see what he's done and what he's made himself and where he's going to go. I mean, is unbelievable, and he's just bought himself a new house, which again I'm not going to talk about price. That's got nothing to do with me, but it's a good hefty amount.
So £20 million, by the way.
Yeah, 20 million. But no, seriously, he's just bought himself a new house, and he deserves everything. He deserves every single thing that he's got. He deserves it, because I've never seen anyone from 5 years ago when I met him and walked in the store. I've never seen somebody commit to something so much and want something so much and work towards something so much.
He's always calm as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
always got time.
He's never ever angry. He'll do what he'll do anything for anyone.
Yeah.
You know, if he's got his last pound, he'll give you his last pound. Not that he'll never have it. He'll never be in that situation. But seriously though, you'll go out with him for food. You'll go to pay and you go, no, don't be daft, and say, no, I will pay. And every time we've boxed, down the country, or a box for England or a box from the ABAs, it's the hotel's paid for. He wants you to have a good sleep, rather than a lot of amateur clubs would do. And the amateur club never made money because of the gym. We were never allowed to be England boxing sanctioned through funding, so Mark put everything into that. And he would never, where people would travel down to London on the day of the fight, they'd be down there for 9 o'clock. He'd have us there 2 days before, making sure that I had a good sleep, booking a spa hotel, making sure that I was chilling in the jacuzzi, and I think that was just to season these speedos, but I don't know.
Your mum's speedos.
Yeah, my mum's speedos.
Sorry, bikini.
My mum's bikini. But no, he's such a generous and loyal man, and I think that's why I'm so loyal to him, because he's changed my life around, and I can't thank him enough for that.
One of the nicest things that I'm starting to see now is not only Vision Gym it's Vision and the World's End Boxing Academy starting to merge a little bit now, which is, as far as boxing is concerned, I mean.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Mark and Nicky, I think they were meant to box in the amateurs, but it never come off, and they've always been good. They've always been good friends, and then the owner, Michael Ferry, he's good friends with whom we've been sparring in since the day one of boxing, and obviously it's just a little click that we've got. Mark's already says, go and train with Nicky when you want, and then he's told the other boxers, come down here, do a spin, train with me, whatever. So like you say, we've got that connection and again, it's great because Nicky will pick things up that Mark and Giuseppe doesn't, and then Mark will pick things up on their boxers that Nicky's not picking up. People say different things, and they don't try and change your style, but what they do is just even if it's a tiny adjustment of moving your left foot an inch to the left to get that right hand across, to get that hip around. They're all different coaches, so they all look at different things. Some might be great at body shots, some might be good at hooks, some might be good at adjusting your body stance. So the three of them will work really well together, and it's a good connection to have.
I want to see this boxing gym here filled with professionals. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, same. It'll be great for me and Bassi as well, because they've just signed Darren and Declan, who are the same weight as me and Bassi. So it's constant sparring, constantly on the doorstep as well, not having to travel 200 miles and to get some sparring. And obviously I sparred Simon 3 times a week. I don't know what's happening with Simon. I wish him all the best. If anybody who knows Simon's watching this, send me regards, and I hope he does get back into boxing, because technically he's good and he's got everything he needs. So hopefully he'll get back in, and he'll give himself some time to get fit again and go towards where he needs to go towards. But without him, I thought great. Yeah, we'll go again, 300 miles round trips for sparring, and then Declan's been committed to the gym, and now with him turning pro, it's ideal for me because, like I say, it's on the door weekly, 2 times a week, 3 times, whenever. Even if it's just conditioning sparring, technical sparring, body sparring, it's there. So it's time now to pick the sparring up again. And like I say, I'm one call away. I'm ready now. I'm fit now. I'm on shape now. I'm on weight now. It's a 365-day job for me. It's a full-time commitment. I'm always in the gym. I'm always fit. I'm always ready. Rusty sparring wise, yeah, correct. But now I've got that frequent sparring. I'm one call away to with a week's notice, and I'll be there. Whether it be a camp abroad, whether it be a fight, yeah, abroad, wherever, I'll be there, 100%.
Now you're sparring and you're working out and your pad work and whatever. You love Disney.
Yeah.
Disney music's always playing. What's the best Disney movie?
I'm a bit. The new ones like Moana and stuff are great, but I'm definitely Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and Little Mermaid on my top 3.
Really?
Yeah.
No bedknobs and broomsticks.
Nah, the classics are great. It's the same as with the likes of Peter Pan and stuff, but I think Lion King, Little Mermaid, and Beauty and the Beast are on my 3 that I could just sit and, whenever I've got a bad throat or I feel down, I'll just sit and put Disney Plus on, put my feet up and just sit, and most people play Call of Duty or Fight Night, I'll just sit and watch Beauty and the Beast or something.
Ariel and Sebastian, is it?
Yeah, Sebastian. The flounder.
Alright, spot on, and hopefully that everything gets sorted out, you get a fight day and you get your career fast tracking again.
Yeah, when this is all over, I want to be 4-0. I'm going to contact Boxrec and say I want Corona. I've already beat it up there and in there. I'm one step ahead of them, and like I say, I'm ready. There'll not be many heavyweights who will stay this focused and stay this committed and stay this long in the gym. So I know I'm fit. So if anybody's had any dropouts or if anybody knows of any fights, go and just give us a ring. Give Mark a ring. Give Sport and Icons a message, and I'll be there 100%.
Definitely. But don't contact Boxrec, they've screwed up your entire record, haven't they?
That's fine. And it's irrelevant to me anyway. It's if people think that I've only had 2 amateur fights, and that's fine. But what I will do is I'll show you why I quit the amateurs, and when this goes up live, I'll post the fight on and tell you where to fast forward to. ABA semi-final against Delicious Oreo, that's one of the losses on the Boxrec record, and you can make your own opinion on that. And that's the last time I ran a boxed amateur, and that's the last time I ran, and I'll let you make your opinion on that fight.
No swearing, but definite robbery. Alright, thanks Dylan.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Great.